Welcome back to Status, and today we're going to talk Alcantara or suede cleaning, and we're going to kind of dive into how to do a deep cleaning. I once made a video on how to kind of clean Alcantara, but it was a little bit more about like how to do more like maintenance and keep it up. This is more of like when it's really bad, how do you restore it? How do we bring it back and really clean it? And we have the very, very cool 600 LT Mclaren as the car we're going to work on. So let's jump into the video right away and we'll knock this out. Let's jump inside of this super awesome 600 LT with very cool doors. Check those out. And let's take a look at the steering wheel. So you can see there is a lot of matted material down. So, you know, Alcantara should be kind of soft. It should be fluffy, like supple, and it's all matted and pushed down. We have this very distinct dirt line going through there, and this is all very normal to see on an Alcantara steering wheel that hasn't been cleaned in a very long time. So we can fix all that stuff, and we'll get to that in a little bit. You can see the seat has, you know, the Alcantara is kind of a different color on where your butt goes. And again, it's like it's matted down, like the fibers aren't really moving around and they're kind of smashed together. Whereas in the front of the seat where your legs are less prone to be kind of smashing the material down, you can kind of draw on it and see how the material is more flexible. That's what we're going for, and that's how we're going to fix all this. So first up, we're going to use Geon Leather Cleaner Mild. And yes, this is a product for leather, but this works on Alcantara. And Alcantara technically is suede, and suede is technically leather, but Alcantara actually is synthetic. It's a made-up synthetic material for cars. It's highly durable, which is why this cleaning is so easy. Anyways, back to the actual cleaning. You're going to see I'm basically, you know, putting a lot of leather cleaner into a towel, and then I'm kind of dabbing it into the steering wheel. I'm not really agitating yet. I'm doing very low pressure, and essentially, guys, this is the equivalent of when you wash your car, you foam it and let it dwell. You don't just foam it and go crazy and start washing it. You foam it and you let it dwell. That's why I'm dabbing the leather. I'm getting it wet. I'm getting that chemical to kind of go into the steering wheel and start kind of loosening things. It's softening things. It's softening up that dirt. So when we go in for the agitation, it's going to kind of pull everything out. If we just go straight into it, we're more likely to damage the Alcantara surface, and we're also just more likely to do a lot of hard work and not get any results yet. So doing this first step where you kind of soak the steering wheel with this stuff and then kind of let it dwell for a second is very, very important for cleaning Alcantara. This step is not as important when you're cleaning leather because leather isn't really porous like, you know, the fabric of Alcantara. Once we have everything kind of saturated, everything is slightly loosened, you can see I start going in and actually agitating. So I'm just using the microfiber towel, and I'm using a little bit of pressure at this point, but not a lot because it's still very wet. So I'm starting to kind of pull some of the wetness out of the steering wheel, some of that dampness into the towel, like it's transferring from the steering wheel into the towel. And while I'm doing that, I am pulling off just straight black gunk and dirt, and it's going into the towel. And you can literally almost already see in the steering wheel how it looks better. So this is a step that we're going to repeat multiple times. I don't remember how many times I did it in here, and I'm going to show a lot of cuts because I'm not going to bore you with the process on camera here, but I probably did this 5 or 6 times because it was so bad on the steering wheel. Now, in between some of these steps, you're going to grab your leather brush. This is a Geon leather brush, and you're going to start kind of fluffing the Alcantara back out. And you can already see, guys, I can like draw in it, like I can kind of see the fabric moving back and forth, and this is wonderful. This means that we're already making wonderful progress to getting back to an OEM state of brand new, nice looking Alcantara. But we still need to go in here and fluff this, and then even after I do this to kind of like massage the fibers of the Alcantara, I'm going to go back again, as you see, and I'm actually going to clean the steering wheel again. For a lot of people, it probably would have been good where it was, but you know, this is Status Detail. We're always striving to go way above and beyond and way past what normal people would do. So I really want to get this steering wheel to look literally like it's brand new, like it just rolled out of the factory with 10 miles on it. So we're doing basically the entire step that we just did previously all over again. You can see like where, you know, where the knuckle like in your thumb would be, like where that would rest. That section of the steering wheel is very matted, so I kind of do a lot of extra work in that area. But I'm just trying to do this until I basically can wipe the steering wheel with my towel, look at the towel, and see no black dirt in the towel. When the towel just looks yellow after scrubbing it, I know I've got all the dirt out. Don't do this 27 times with an insane amount of pressure. You will start to actually damage the fibers in the Alcantara, and they will look weird. So if you're doing this multiple times, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, You have to understand, guys, that you have to use an appropriate amount of pressure, which means, you know, kind of use your best judgment, but don't like crank on it like crazy because you can damage this stuff. So just doing it multiple times is okay, but don't do it multiple times with crazy amounts of pressure. That can cause problems. And now again, you can see when we're coming back with the brush, this is looking really, really good. We're basically back to 100% OEM. The only time I would use higher than normal levels of pressure is when you're going through your, you know, second to last or last pass. You can kind of clamp your hand down over the Alcantara with the towel to really try and suck the remaining moisture out of the steering wheel. But I'm not like, you know, agitating when I'm doing that. I'm like wrapping the towel around it, putting pressure on it, and then taking the moisture out of the steering wheel so it can be more dry. So don't confuse like that process with the previous process of actual doing agitation. So here's the top of the steering wheel. I'm basically going to cut through this a little quicker, but you guys can see just the before and after, and you know, the process works very, very well. And it's not something that's difficult to do. You guys can do this at home if you have a supercar or something that has Alcantara like this. In the before and after here, you can see very, very matted. And in the end, everything is nice and fluffy. It was much cleaner. It was much darker. It just looked way, way better. In the end of the process of doing this, you can use either Geon Interior Detailer or you can use Geon Prep. Both of these products are what I like to finish the steering wheel cleaning process with when we're doing Alcantara, because basically it's going to slightly disinfect everything. It's going to put a nice smell into it. And on top of all of that, it has alcohol in it, so it's going to kind of help things evaporate out. And as you can see, this process just works so, so well, guys. This looks brand new. The steering wheel feels really good. It smells really good. It looks really good. It's everything you need in an Alcantara cleaning system, and it just couldn't be simpler. It's just all about process. It's all about doing the steps in the correct order with the right amount of pressure, and the steering wheel will turn out literally perfect. Here are some pictures from a GT3 RS that I did that are unbelievable before and afters. I took most of these with my phone, but you guys can kind of see that was really, really bad, and it came out literally, again, brand new. So the same system was used on that car and gave nearly identical, if not better, results. You can repeat this same process on something like an armrest. You can also do it on the bottom of your seat, and you will still experience similar results. Some things are harder to remove than others, like if you put your elbow into your armrest every single day for a couple of years, it's very possible that the armrest won't come out as good as your steering wheel, for example, because the pressure being applied by my hands into the steering wheel is going to be way different than, say, 100 pounds or 200 pounds of my elbow into my armrest. So you have to have realistic expectations for certain areas like the armrest or the bottom of your seat. But in general, guys, this stuff is all fixable. It can be replaced, or it can be, you know, renewed to original state. And if it's not renewed to 100%, you're going to get it back to probably 90%. Like the armrest is probably in that 95% perfection, where I'd say the steering wheel was closer to 100. Now here is a quick shot of someone previously detailing the car put in carpet stripes into the dash. I absolutely hate carpet stripes. No new car has ever been delivered to a customer with Mclaren, Ferrari, Lamborghini, any of these companies with carpet stripes in the dash. So my only goal here is to remove these, make it look as OEM, as new as possible, and here's how the process goes for that. Alrighty guys, so you definitely do not want to spray this into the dash for this. This is not recommended because it's going to go everywhere. So this is just a clean microfiber towel. I'm going to actually hold this outside the car. And I'm just going to spray this into the towel a couple times. And I'm going to kind of put my hand into this. And you're just kind of brushing the leather a little bit. Or you're brushing the suede, rather. This stuff smells very good too. So it's because this is fabric, it's going to make it smell very nice inside. Alright, now that we've got that all situated, we're going to brush it all one direction. And I might even come with my brush here. As a final step, interior detailer works great on everything on the inside, and like I said, it smells good. So because there's alcohol in here, it will disinfect touch screens, but it'll also basically be like a glass cleaner or a screen cleaner. So again, just one little spray or two little sprays there, and then you can very nicely just clean all these buttons and things like that. This part of the seat is much darker than this part of the seat, and it's kind of because these fibers are a little smashed down because of basically your butt being here. And I don't like how gray that is. I want it to be better. The whole seat's that way. It's not necessarily dirty. It just needs to be like fluffed. Like the fabrics need to be like rejuvenated. It might be the right word. So in a situation like this, I'm not too worried about spraying any electronics or screens. So I will give this a couple sprays into the seat and then a couple sprays into my towel. And we're just gonna kind of work this in a little bit. Get that brush out of there. We just want this seat to be more uniform in appearance, is really what we're going for. When you're not cleaning actual dirt out like we had in the steering wheel, you don't need to spray as much. So you saw I sprayed a lot on the steering wheel, but I didn't spray very much liquid actually onto the seat. You can see kind of how I'm drawing in the leather, or in the Alcantara, how it's like kind of being more receptive. See that, how much better it is now? So I can brush it this way now, and it's gray, but I can also brush it back, and it's much more black now. All right guys, hopefully you can see now the bottom section of the seat is much more uniform than it was before, and that was our goal, but while doing that we definitely cleaned it. It didn't need a hardcore cleaning like the steering wheel, but what we accomplished here is basically just a nicer looking seat. If you keep up with something like this long term, I do believe your Alcantara will basically look brand new basically all the time. If you neglect it and never do what we just did and you drive the car for years and years and years and years, what's probably going to happen is you're going to have a buildup where the leather, where the suede that's, you know, a lighter color, it's going to be really hard to like unmat it and get it to kind of come up and be more dark again, or be able to draw on it. As long as you can do that, like draw pins, like draw stripes in it and stuff like that, you know, the fabrics are loose and like breathable and they're not going to build up dirt, and that you'll be able to get the dirt out. When they mat real bad, and you leave it too long, it can be very, very difficult to clean it. That's it for this video. I hope that was helpful. If it was, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's roll some awesome outro footage. See you in the next one.